space, creation and destruction happen simultaneously. So in the dimension of time start the past, present, and the future. But in our Akashic readings, there is no past, present, and future, and that is why a macrocosmic, ancient, enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. The Supreme Pontiff is the 1008th incarnation of Paramashiva, as per Hinduism, recognized by his predecessors who are Kanchi Kailasa Sagadvipeetam, the incumbent emperor of the Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajyam, the present 293rd Jagat Guru Mahasannidhana Dharma Mukti Swargapuram Adinam, and he is elected as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by a congregation in 3 languages in Tamil, English, and Sanskrit, translated into 50 languages with over 1,000 titles, and he has released over 20 million copies of books and articles which are sold, read, and downloaded. The Bhagavad Gita, the Shiva Sutras, the Brahma Sutras, the Yoga Sutras, the Ashtavakra Gita, and the Jain Sutras. And he is honored as the leader of Hinduism, the most awarded internationally Hindu University, Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University, in the world with satellite campuses in 150 countries. He is the establisher of 1,000 plus Kailasa enlightenment ecosystems. The founder, and we will now be moving on to the witnessing the demonstration of extraordinary powers of the third eye by the Balasans and Nithyananda Yogis. So we'll be having our Nithyananda Yogis and Balasans of the Nithyananda.
Yes. So let us witness the X as they see with their 2 eyes. And you will also be witnessing the extraordinary power of body scanning, which is the power where one awakens the ability to scan illnesses, diseases, medically diagnosed issues, and any body problems which one has, and can even reveal the root 463 plus extraordinary Shaktis. Shaktis manifest from the fundamental cognition that you are the divine and you need to manifest the divine. Not that you have oneness with Paramashiva. This from the space of enlightenment as a side effect of feeling connection with the divine and high integrity with the Guru. Shaktis are the source of enlightenment. Lead you towards enlightenment, whereas Siddhis express from tapas or penance, and they are on the path of unchanging beyond time, space, form, and causality. As the fundamental base of Vyakta, the unmanifest, and Vyakta, the manifest existence, he performs the Panchakritya or the 5 cosmic acts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Just to revive all these extraordinary Shaktis, Paramashiva has landed as the 1008th incarnation of Paramashiva and is reviving all these lost science and gurus who recognized Swamiji as an avatar at a very young age and have trained and taught Swamiji to revive these sciences. And so how do we awaken these divine Shaktis in us? How do we manifest these extraordinary Shaktis? Every ultimate truth, Jnana, mapped into your consciousness, Prajna.
वासामपि दीक्षानां मुक्तिः फलमखण्डितम् अविरोधात् भवन्त्येव प्रासङ्गस्तु भुक्तयः. The main benefitस्य न सिद्धिः न च सद्गतिः तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन गुरुना दीक्षितो भवेत्. The one who is not initiated does not attain liberation with energy. This is the superconscious energy of Kundalini, our own highest inner potential energy. As the Kundalini flows from this, the whole brain comes alive, turning into a superconductor of conscious energies that heal, empower, transform our lives. Levitation, teleportation, materialization. Experience the power of initiation through a range of exclusive programs conducted at the ashram. Nithyananda Dhyanapitham.
Aspects of evidences or pramanas. The first is the Shastra Pramana, the empirical, the unchangeable truths revealed in the source scriptures by Paramashiva. Next is the Apta Pramana, the experiences and results of Nithyananda Paramashivam. This millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. And last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, or the empirical evidence from observation and scientific experimentation. So, where do we get all these Shastra Pramanas from? Where do we get all these source scriptures from? For Hindus. Agamas are the scriptures where the applied technology, the applied science is expanded. Vedas and Agamas, Vedagamas, are given the status of Shruti as they are. So the power of third eye is where one awakens the ability to read with a blindfold. So let us see the Shastra Pramana with the power of third eye, which comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 34. Translation goes, by fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and sitting stably without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession, by that stability of the mind and inner, where it goes back to the time of Bhagavan Krishna, when Bhagavan Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye. In the Hindu Purana Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye to behold his Vishwarupa Darshan. Ashtum अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषः दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्. Bhagavan Krishna says to Arjuna, but you cannot see my cosmic. The first experience that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree, the 10 directions below me, everything, I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel and experience all of that. PET, the positron emission tomography. When doing daily activities, high activity is measured in the brain where the third eye is located. And when in the deep state of samadhi, only the third eye region is active. And how the initiated disciples are able to manifest these extraordinary shaktis as a day-to-day lifestyle. So along with me, I have a medically tested eye band. I have a medically tested eye band. You can see in front is a complete opaque sheet, and behind is a thick sponge. And we'll be placing on Ma Kaladhara's eyes. This is actually tested by one of the top 10 hospitals of India. And so you can see that the eye band is completely covering her eyes, and now I'm strapping it to her head. I'm going to be manifesting the power of third eye for all of you. So I request the YouTube comments to be projected, and all of you can go ahead and post any comments you want on the live Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel, and Ma Kaladhara is going to be reading it live. So I request all of you to go ahead and continue posting. So you can see that there's no wires around Ma Kaladhara's head. It's only her and her eye band.
Survey BHADRAANNI KASH CID Dukha BHAAG Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Yes, so that was amazing. Post it in the Kailasa's SPH Nithyananda page. So that was amazing. I request all of you to continue posting. You can post anything. Adra will be reading it out. Okay. And so we also have something interesting today. So you can see I have 30 pages in the second book, and around 50 pages a page number, and Ma Kaladra will be reading it out. So this is book 1, this is book 2, and this is book 3. Any one of the viewers can post which book they want Ma Kaladra to read and which page number out of these 3 books they. So I request all of you to. I request all of you to go ahead and continue posting. Ma Kaladra is eagerly waiting. Three they want.
Yes. Again, 7 search tool has posted. Picture is too small. Yes, I. My yoga plan is showing the picture closely now.
You want page 30 to be read? Okay, so I'll be giving a random book. So I'll be choosing any random book out of these 3. So Ma Kaladra, you can open page 30 in this book and you can read. So I request you to show.
Search tool has posted Tales of VALBUR.
Okay, so I'll be giving that book to her then. Ma Kaladra, you can choose page 30. Start reading. Or you can actually describe the pictures on page 30.
Yes. So here and there is a person standing here speaking to the girl, and he is wearing a purple colored dress with and here the girl's shawl is flying and the guy is lying down. The
dress is fighting with the girl in the yellow shawl, and the girl is running, and the man in the purple dress is running. So is lying down. So Ma Kaladra has beautifully described. She even described that there's a green curtain here. Yes, and I encourage all of you to continue posting more page numbers. You can post. We have 3 books with us, and you can post. And the biggest book has 90 pages. So from 1 to 9. Yes, Ma Kaladra, why don't you go ahead and read the next comment?
Expressions of me, I am Ma Jalandristananda has posted, and she has posted, so proud of you, with the 2 dots and a closed bracket. And expression of me, I am Ma Jalandristananda has also posted page number 44. Yes,
okay, book. So even in this, you can choose any book which you want Ma Kaladra to reach page 44.
Expressions of me, I am Ma Jalandristananda has posted the one with the red border.
So Ma Kaladra, you can go ahead and choose which book. This book has only 30 pages in it. Yes. So Ma Mahajalandhar Nithyananda, why don't you go ahead and choose another number?
Has posted with an exclamatory mark and wonderful. She has posted all right. page number 22. So now I'll be opening the page number 22.
Kaladra, why don't you go ahead and read page number 22? You can describe the pictures on page 22.
There are two males, dark and light pink, and he's wearing two chains in golden color, and he's wearing a coat kind of top, which is dark pink top. And in the next picture, they're showing both of them sitting on top of a cushion, sofa kind of cushion, and there are four bolsters which
Describe the top part of the picture. So all of you can see how in the top part of picture, Ma Kaladara beautifully described that there is two people sitting up. The first person is wearing a purplish pink. There are three pillars, and you can see how Ma Kaladara was even able to see the amount, how many cushions are there, how many pillars are there, and you can see how the eye band is completely intact. There's no change to the eye band. Everything is the same, and you can see how Ma Kaladara is still adjusting to the light. So her eyes were closed inside the whole time, and she was able to see with her eyes closed. So that is a very, then I request all of you to call your family members and friends and go ahead and start posting your comments. Start posting requests for body scanning in the Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda channel. And yeah. Unique thing about body scanning is that the third eye reveals the root cause of the problem, why the problem even started in your body in the first place. The third eye doesn't just reveal the problem, it reveals why it started. There are so many. Let us now chant the Shastra Pramana for this power of body scanning. Swadehe jagato vapi sukshma sukshma tarani cha of the whole universe simultaneously consists of the essential reality. They are being absorbed in their source cause, Paramashivoham, and by the experience of such restful awareness, one becomes complete from all the thoughts and the ultimate universal divine power, Paradevi, Adisha Agastya. And one day, a man suffering from a severe headache came to Agastya for healing, and Agastya did the body scanning and revealed that there is a small type of terai, a frog, sitting in his head. And he immediately instructs his disciple Tereya to perform the open head, the experience of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Swamiji, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. So Swami, they detected heavy metal quantity in different organs of mine, and it was revealed that I had been poisoned without our knowledge. I immediately used diagnostic methods instead of medical facilities to study the body condition due to the and last is the Sakshi Pramana, the experiences and results of the extraordinary manifestation being manifested through the different you also can manifest. So you're seeing and you'll be thinking, wow, even the participants are able to manifest, even you yourself can manifest. Just join the Paramashivoham level 2 program and you can also manifest. But now you can manifest all the 463 powers, not only the power of body scanning or third. You to continue posting, call your family members, call your friends, show them that they can manifest this power just with one initiation, and tell them that now they can get a body scanning, and immediately after the Devi Parashakti Akashic readings, they can themselves witness this power. So go ahead, call them, and we'll be yes. So now you will be witnessing the extraordinary demonstration, a live demonstration of the power of body scanning for the power of body scanning, and the Balasins are eagerly waiting to manifest this extraordinary Shakti for all of you. Okay, so expressions of me I am has posted. Mahajalandhara Sthitananda has posted, my sister Mayuri would like a body. Okay, so Ahmed Aya has posted, please scan my body and what color is my shirt. Okay, so I will be doing the scanning for what color is your shirt, and Sony, you can do the scanning for Ahmed Aya. And Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. And Paramashiva revealed one more thing is that one part of the Balasin did the scanning. Yes, Ma'am Ramyoga, you can go ahead.
Yes, so Mama Hajalandra Sthitananda, Paramashiva revealed to me that for your sister Mayuri, the solution for her diabetes is every day after she gets up, the first thing she should, before eating anything or before even drinking solution for 1 month, it will heal.
Oh, wow, a very unique solution for your sister, Ma. Paramashiva has revealed a neem and turmeric paste she has to eat every day is blocking me in moving, please. Okay, first thing, Ma. Swamiji has actually advised anyone outside of India not to come in India right now as the COVID is spreading and it is really bad. But you can also ask this question to Devi Parashakti when COVID-19 is spreading really fast around the world, and yes, and is taking many lives.
Nithyananda Mahamadaya, here Paramashiva revealed that you need
Scan even and reveal the solution. So I request Ma Mahajalandhara Sthitananda and Ahmed Aya, I request you to get back in the chat and verify and confirm whether the scanning is correct or not. Ma Mahajalandhara Sthita has posted, okay, thank you, Ma. Okay. Ahmed Aya, I request you to get back, and my sister, yes, neem and turmeric first thing in the morning. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for getting. Yes. So, Ma Soni, Ma Brahmayaga, why don't you go ahead and share? How are you able to manifest this power? When?
Okay, so I would like to share my experience of how I felt when I manifested body scanning for the first time. So I was doing a demo on for live for someone. So I was really nervous, and then, but even though I was nervous, I still did the body scanning, and I asked Swamiji, what should I tell him? What is the problem he has? And then Paramashiva Swamiji showed that he has recently gotten a minute surgery on his left thigh, and that is like I was just sitting there for a few minutes, not knowing what to do. But then after that, I decided, okay, whatever Swamiji is showing, I'll just say it, whether it's right or wrong. After all credits go to him. So just looking at me, and he couldn't say anything. He was so shocked because it was precise, and I couldn't believe that it was correct. And then he was like, "Ma, how do you do it?" That is my.
Just with that simple trust on Swamiji, you're able to reveal and completely confidently say, this is the problem you have. And similar experience I had for the power of remote vision. So one day we were doing the Kalpataru demo, and one person came and asked me, okay, why don't you go ahead and scan my house? I was like, okay. And I did the house scanning for him, and I revealed that he is including the ground floor, or including the ground floor, are you living on the 4th floor? And then he told, oh yes, without the ground floor, without the basement, if you count it, I'm living on the 3rd floor. Scanning, it's like around, I think it's pretty big, and it's in a it's supposed to be in a black color case, but it's a little open. And he was just like, oh my god, he was so shocked because at exact and was able to scan and tell that there's a guitar in his house, and it is in this position, it is leaning against the wall, and the black case is open. It's just a trust on beautiful experience we've had with the powers of remote vision, body scanning, and much, much more. So now it's time to conclude this power manifestation session. We thank all of you for joining us in this beautiful power manifestation session. We already have Maniti Sadashiva ready to start the
demonstration of the powers by the Balasants of Nithyananda Gurukul. And every single day, no matter what, without fail, we have seen how the Balasants have been demonstrating the powers of Paramashiva being manifested through these individuals. And we can see every single day how so many people are being benefited, so how so many people are seeing in our lives, the purpose of which the avatar happened on planet Earth. And in this day and age, we are celebrating the happening of the avatar on planet Earth. For many of us, for the first time, to who is Devi Parashakti? Who is this divine cosmic being? We'll now understand Devi Parashakti from the very beginning, from the way that she is described in the Shastras. The Lalita Sahasranama is one of the great chants, sacred chants, which is dedicated. Such beautiful significance behind each one, and each one being an ultimate powerful character of Shakti in a very subtle, very sacred way, and which is of course apt as today we are experiencing feminine consciousness, and she is the embodiment of the cosmic mother. She is the source of where all the billions and billions of universes go in and come out. Connect to her as our mother, and she has the ability to literally take away all our fears, our worries, everything at one shot. Now, let us first begin with the Dhyana shlokas and meditate on Devi and invoke her presence among us.
Yes, we'll now chant the Dhyana Sloka from Lalita Sahasranama. Sinduraruna Vigraham Trinayana Gatastha Rakta Charanam Dhyayet Paramambikam.
Now I'll just be briefly chanting the English translation as well. The Divine Mother is to be meditated upon as shining in vermilion, red body with triple eyes sporting a crown of ruby.
Tarangitakshim Dritapashankusha Pushpabana Chapam Animadi Viravrita Mayukairahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavani.
I meditate on the great Empress, she is in me.
So Devi, the ultimate pure feminine consciousness, Parashakti, is the cosmic mother. It is her cosmic womb from which billions of universes comes out and goes.
And compassion, Parashakti herself is manifesting through the embodied form as Nija Avatara of the pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam itself.
So in the words of Parashakti herself, it says, raising as Omkara, expressing as Vedas and Agamas, blossomed as Krimkara, filled as Parashodasi, living to give good boon to everyone, to bestow all goodness. Hiranyagarbha Swarupini, Brahmanda Yoni, Shami, Chandramauli, Rapala, Aparna, Uma Parvati, Savitri, Navayana as Nijavatara.
Raising in Omkara, blossoming as Shiva, and Shiva manifesting as the source of existence, powers of existence, expression of existence, and from the oneness as 9 grahas, blossoming as 10 indriyas, being as 11 rudras, creating all the world to tell and make truth.
When you're having the darshan on the screen, so how to receive her? So let us receive her very, very traditionally. So the traditional way of receiving her, it actually includes having the tambulam ready. The tambulam would include a plate with 2 betel leaves, a banana, a betel nut, and a coin. So that coin is called a
nut, and take it as a prasadam immediately. Collect those coins and send it to the LA temple. This betel leaf, the betel nut, may look really small, but in a few days you will see how much it adds to your sentiment. Now, as you can see here, we have a couple of samples of the betel leaf, the betel nut, the betel the betel nut, the banana, and the. So now let us see how we can ask our questions. Now that we have been introduced to Devi Parashakti, how can we ask our questions and interact and start the different social media platforms wherever we are? And here you can see how you can ask your questions through YouTube. So on YouTube, you should first ensure that you are a member, made sure that we all are able to have this great wisdom of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And once you're a member, you'll be able to enter into the chat any of your questions or
the official Facebook page, Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam. You can like and follow Kailasa's official Facebook page, and then after that, you can ask your questions in the comment.
Your questions in as a reply to the main live feed of on Twitter. You can hit reply, and then you can use the hashtag #AskTheAvatar.
Ask your questions in the comment section.
Yes, and perhaps you're not social media savvy and you're not comfortable at all with social media yet. No org. Now we have another option that you can also do for even making donations and anything. For some of us, most desperately, most yearning the divine presence of Devi Parashakti in our lives. We're yearning for someone to take care, to give us boons, to as humanity as a whole, has given us supreme knowledge, wisdom, and guidance in order to take action through this day and age, through the COVID-19 pandemic, where she has literally been able to handhold us through these extremely dark and tense times. So in this next segment, we will be understanding the guidance that Devi Parashakti has given, the pure guidance, and for the whole, so many different ways Devi Parashakti has given us supreme knowledge and wisdom. So now, we will now be entering into the next segment of today's program. Humanity is still undergoing the after effects of the cosmic deluge and thousands of deaths due to the global pandemic and emerging fungal epidemic, along with the recent numbers of natural disasters have taken a toll on humanity.
Who is behind this and how could we have avoided this? So what is the solution for this? So in this segment of this program, we would go through a scientific and statistical understanding of Parashakti's revelation on the cause and solution of the Pralaya.
Now, all of us know the current status of the world right now.
In India, it's more than and the number of COVID deaths, which is more than 37,000, and number fallen into poverty since 2020.
You can see that India is the sixth most depressed country, 6.5% of the population suffering some form of mental illness, especially now with the pandemic going on. And also the suicide rate alarming age because it is the youth that is being directly affected.
Yes, so you can see how India is suffering because of all these natural disasters, the cyclones, and the third wave of COVID, which is actually about to hit the Indian revealed.
இரண்டாயிரத்திரண்டு வரை இந்தியா செல்ல வேண்டாமா என்று பாரதம் முழுவதும் 12 ஜோதிர்லிங்கமும் பாத யாத்திரை செய்திடவே என் மகன் மூலமாய் திட்டமிட்டிருந்தேன். படுபாவிகள் ஓடத்தின் மாலுமியை ஊரையொடு நல் மதிப்பொடு என் நிஜாவதாரம் நித்யானந்தன் திருவடி மீண்டும் ஓம் ஓம்.
Yes. So what Parashakti has revealed in her own words in English, she says, for this huge Kirimi Bhojanam hell not to come. Let us now listen to Bhagavan.
Want to do 1 year Pada to spend time with people. 2020 there will not be any program other than Padayatra and just spending time with people. Just walking. Of course, 10,000 people will be walking with me. People manifesting powers. Walking from village to village. What do you think will happen? Power manifesting 10,000 people. The whole village will be manifesting powers. Just want to enjoy India with one stone tower, gold coated. It will be something like a 40 to 50 feet tall stone tower, and 5 Rajagopurams, which will be something like 150 or anything. Because just for darshan itself, there will not be time. Like Tirupati, you can only have darshan and arati, the camp for arati. No other worship is allowed in the main temple. All the other offerings, like people will offer the archanas and other, everything will be done to the Utsava Murti, which will be kept in the Balalayam, the present Balalayam, present structure. So 2019 full year I will be conducting the programs and everything. 2020 will be the one full year. Before that we will make 10,000 people power manifestors. It will be sannyasi, brahmachari, grihastha, all put together. 10,000 people will be walking. What a scene it will be. I think that is the only way for people to come where I am living. Now I am sitting in one place to prepare these 10,000 people and make this science completely user-friendly. For that only I am sitting and working. We will literally solve every person's problem in every village. The way we are walking. Understand, 1200 years before in Tiruvannamalai temple carvings, how the baby will be in the womb in 2nd month, 3rd month, all that is detailed way. Srirangam, Rangaraja Mandapam, it very clearly portrays. There will be one Rangaranga Gopuram. In that next to Rangaranga Gopuram, there is a Rangaraja Mandapam. We have already collected some, and as per practical village level, ground level, all that, in those days. These two community only travelled and installed civilization. Of course, kings went, that is different.
For the Padayatra to save the humanity. So from that age, you can see he has been enriching and giving the signs of enlightenment through his powerful discourses. So this 16th to 17th November 2000.
The science of enlightenment to the world. And here you can see on the 19th of November 2005 in Vellore, Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Council of Hinduism initiating thousands of people. Conducted on the 21st of November 2005.
And again in 2005, where he has conducted huge satsangs and programs in Salem, Tamil Nadu. This is one of the things around him, waiting for his darshan and healing.
And on the 1st of January 2006 in Adi Kailash Satyajnana celebrating the 29th Jayanti celebration. On Guru Purnima Day.
And this is the Shakti Spurana program picture, the Dhyana Spurana program, which the Supreme Pontiff himself conducted. Devotees are actually participating in the Homa, and the Supreme Pontiff himself is conducting the Saptayagam, the Homa, in Salem in Tamil Nadu. These are the various pictures. Salem in Tamil Nadu in the 27th 30th of July in 2006. So now, but however, the anti-Hindu elements have really made it impossible to do the re-energizing process by driving away the supreme founder of Hinduism out of India.
சொல்வதைப் புரிந்துகொள். இந்த பெருநரகமான கிருமி போஜனம் படுபாவிகள் ஓடத்தின் மாலுமியை ஊர்விட்டு துரத்தினார்கள். என்ன நடக்கிறதென்று பார். முறையாக கையிலா மட்டுமே நீ அங்கு செல்ல வேண்டும். அதுவரை உன்னை காத்து செல்லாதே. ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
And for years is actually conducted, and the re-energizing process of the 12 Jyotirlingas is allowed to happen. And India should receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with great respect in this Kali Yuga.
So yes, so we can see Kali Yuga is the worst of all the 4 yugas, where man will be his own worst papa. Varnashrama vivarjitaha. Nanyat pashyami jantuna muktva varanasim purim. Sarva papa prasamanam prayaschittam kalau yuge.
And the translation goes, this Kali Yuga is the worst of the 4 yugas, ages in all the world.
Yes, now Gurma Purana again states, Brahma Krita Yuge Devastrethayam Bhagavan Ravihi Dwapare Daivatam Vishnu. The avatara is Rudra, Lord Maheshwara, Maha Sadashiva.
And on the 2nd of January 1978, out of his deepest compassion to protect humanity, Paramashiva himself descended to descend onto planet Earth. It would have been too late for humanity. Let us listen to that revelation here.
And I tell you, O Hindus, don't be afraid. I am back with the same signs. We are going to be rich. Before it was going to be put off, I have happened. Because no time, I have to get up and come directly. ஓம் ஓம் உலக மக்களே கேளுங்கள். கலி முற்றி கலி கழிந்து மக்களே நித்யானந்தன் வடிவம் தாங்கி
So Devi revelations translated into, I will make Nitya Yuga. Nitya Yuga will blossom as Satya Yuga. Be blissful.
So for this huge Kirimi Bhojanam not to come to India, 2020 I had planned to do Padayatra throughout India in 12 Jyotis, all these truths from sacred scriptures of enlightened living you can see in these various pictures.
Even as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was just 14 and 15 years old, all
from Chennai, Tamil Nadu to Thiruvannamalai, and his unforgettable pilgrimage trip.
And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continued walking the length and breadth of India, reaching more and more.
Kailasa Enlightenment Ecosystem in Tiruchengodu in Tamil Nadu on the April 14, 2001. You can see in the picture. And he named it as Ramakrishna Dhyana Peetham.
Vijayatra all over the world to enrich people from all different backgrounds.
Energy.
In 2004, the Avatar and his disciples his disciples on the first Malayan Yatra, visiting temples, delivering satsangs, and initiating them into the superconscious breakthrough.
So subsequently, the Avatar personally organized and led
And impacted by Nithyanandeshvara and Nithyanandeshwari, who were traveling from city to city to bless humanity.
for the Nithyanandeshvara, Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti, and Swayambhu Nithyanandeshvara in Adikailasa Sagarnapita. So the deities were energized as Archavataras to radiate the energy of Paramashiva and Parashakti
To create spiritual energy centers in India to create a safe haven for this great pralaya.
Now watch the video clip of the Rudrabhishekam performed with the Supreme Court of Hinduism.
जनमस्तहस्राक्षाय च जगधन्मने जनमो गिरिशाय विष्टाय जनमो मेरुष्टमाय च शुमते जनमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय जनमो बृहते च वर्षीयते जनमो वृद्धाय च संवृद्धने जनमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय जनम आशवे च जिराय जनम शीघ्रे च प्रतिसर्याय जनमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय जनम उर्वर्याय च खल्याय जनम श्लोक्याय च अवसान्याय जनमो वन्याय च कक्ष्याय जनम श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय जनम आशुषेणाय च अश्रुताय जनम शूराय च अवभिन्दते सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च वत्याय च नमः काट्याय च नीप्याय च नमः सूक्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाद्याय च वैशन्ताय च नमः कूप्याय च वट्याय च नमो वर्ष्याय च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नमः ईर्ध्रि हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयोभवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमः तीर्थ्याय च कूल्याय च नमः पार्याय च वार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आदार्याय च लाद्याय च नमः षष्ट्याय.
And in 2009, the Avatar held another Kodikan Rada Yatra and garnered international.
நின்முகம் நீ நைந்து இங்கு நிர்மலமாகவே ஆனதே இதய சக்கரம் அனகத குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே. புண்ணியம் எல்லாம் போனதே எரிந்தவாயிரும் ஏக்கமும் சேர்த்து விசுத்தி அசுத்தியானதே விசுத்தியை குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே ஆமை பூகுந்த எண்ணகம்
of super consciousness have been sown.
So 1,000 and plus ecosystems, the Sarvanyapitas, billion people worldwide were enriched. An avatar has created by
Kailasa in Columbus, Ohio.
Kailasa in Los Angeles.
Kailasa in San Jose.
And you can see, so you can see the Kailasa in Charlotte, USA. Kailasa in Washington, D.C., Kailasa in Toronto, in St. Louis, Kailasa in St. Louis, Kailasa in Oman, in Dubai. You can see
Kailasa in London. Kailasa in Austria.
Kailasa in Germany, in Italy, in France.
Kailasa in Switzerland.
And you can see Kailasa in Mauritius, Kailasa in South Africa, Kailasa, the Kailasa in Varanasi, Kailasa in Thiruvanmiyur, Chennai, Kailasa in Alangulam, Kailasa in Chennai, Tambaram, you can see Kailasa in Chennai, Avadi. Kailasa in Chennai, Avadi is seen in Melbourne, Australia.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism created all of these Kailasas to ensure humanity survives and created the sovereign order of Kailasa with thousands of sannyasis with no discrimination against caste, creed, or religion. 1,500 satsang centers have been created, Badaka mandirs and home temples have been operating as de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa.
So the avatar. So he reclaims the Hindu-centric freedom. So the thousands of Padayatras were conducted by the Hindu diaspora worldwide, honoring the hard
Malaysia being reinvigorated.
Yes, you can see for every major festival, devotees from various places do the Padayatra out of sincere devotion to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And here he's being served continuously, and over 1 billion e-citizens being enriched by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And
you can see world's greatest digital media platforms, over 1 billion views through websites. Like kailasa.org, nithyananda.org, Nithyananda Hindu University, kailasa.tv, nithyananda.tv.
100 enriched with and created the most successful communities in the world. And here you can see a map of where all e-citizens of Kailasa live.
Signs of enlightenment through which we have made breakthroughs. So we have seen so much has been contributed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in the revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma and enriching people and saving and protecting the humanity from the huge cosmic deluge, the pralaya which is going to affect them. But yet he was driven away.
We will be entering into the next segment of today's program on the different offerings that we can make to Devi Parashakti, profound connection with the divine. We understand that he is God for everyone, but also exclusively for us. And he is our personal guide in every single step, getting the most out of our life. Now, whether it is our birthdays, or the different festivals in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the different blessings of the divine, we thank them for having guided us thus far and blessed us with so much. And we also ensure that we request their blessings and their guidance in previous times. Perhaps we would have been so happy to be able to interact, to go to the temple for every single blessing, for every single temple. But in this day and age, as the internet is only what is available to us and we are in global lockdown, it is so hard to find a way properly that we can interact with the divine, have the personal darshan and diksha, and also make our offerings, different offerings. Now, understand that offering is a giving of a divine gift of pure love, devotion, and oneness, and it consists of two parts. One is giving, and the second is accepting. Only when the divine accepts what one offers.
Invoke Devi Parashakti by chanting the verse from Mula Agama of Manonmani Dhyanam. Induni bhaveda karavahni nayanam syat pankaja varabhayaja paksha sarayuktam angahima bhushana vichit.
Lotus flower gracing and blessing hands on one hand with the japamala, beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments and wonderful clothes and shining bright crown. Her
Vibhushita tanum brahmadi vibhujitam devi meva manun manim pratidinam kamarta datrim shubham.
She is wearing beautiful ornaments and she is worshipped by Brahma and other many gods and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day.
Apatata apamekam veda samreta ahustatte hiramyam trividastva vise.
In the English translation, triply born by birth is this gold from the atom. That gold is a divine element. Many of us know and understand its value and its pricelessness and when we're offering gifts. Many of us have given for Mother's Day or marriage anniversaries, even our rings when we are doing weddings or marriages, or anything that it touches. And it's an element of spiritual significance and great spiritual power of healing and enlightening. The vibration of gold has the power to infuse
the Vedas, Shrutis, Smritis, Itihasas, and Puranas. In all Hindu scriptures, it is abundantly displayed that gold is the most auspicious and the purest metal which purifies our very being. So, weighing equivalent amounts of commodities like cows, and kingdoms were built with huge doors of gold, streets would have huge columns, huge archways made of gold, and even the horses and cows were dressed up in gold.
To ones you love and revere. And the Vedic rishis actually understood this extremely potent metal that was gold. And they applied this super science that Paramashiva had gifted on planet Earth in all the different aspects forever.
So with that, we'll move on to the offerings to Devi Parashakti. The first offering is the E-Hundi offering. So the Shastra Pramana describes.
English translation: Devi is fond of true devotion and is realized through true devotion. She can be won over through true devotion and she removes all fears. Now, if there is any fear in the minds of devotees, it is meant the autumn of our lives when we are going through existentially. More and more, our thoughts are turning inwards and we are questioning inside of us the purpose of our lives and so on. The role of the divine is known and understood clearly at this time, and the need for Devi worship becomes.
The next offering is the Sankalpa chanting. So the Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 12, verse 34, it says, Tayaitan mohyate vishvam saiva vishvam prasuyate saya chitta cha vijanam tushta rudhim prayaschadhi.
And the English translation: the goddess enchants the universe, showing us the compassion of Devi Parashakti. And just by offering the Sankalpa chanting, the conscious resolution, it blesses the person, whoever is offering you, or if you're offering on behalf of the other person, with all the fruition of the desires and wishes that you are yearning. Their own consciousness in you manifest their consciousness, the supreme consciousness. Through this conscious resolution, you can offer the Sankalpa today.
This is the offering of 1008 names of Parashakti, and it's a very, very special and unique Archana offered to the Mahameru of Devi Parashakti. So you can offer a coin inscribed with each of the 1008 names and receive the blessings to have all the divine qualities, the Ananta Kalyana.
And all those are the Ananta Kalyana Gunas, which you will be bestowed with. The sacred thing is that the science of the chant, the sacred chants, is actually used and implemented here, where every time we chant the name of Devi.
A ring with a pearl. The Meenakshi Pancharatnam, it beautifully describes Muktahara Lasat Kirita Ruchiram Purnendu Vaktra Prabham Shinjannu Pura Kinkini Manidaram Padma Prabha Suram Sarvabhishta Falapradam Girisutam Vanirama Sevitam Meenakshi
Stones and has small bells, who is shining like the splendor of a lotus, who grants all the wishes, the daughter of the mountain, and who is worshipped by goddess Vani and Rama. I remain ever bowing to God
and receive her blessings to be showered by her compassion, pure love in all your business endeavors. The Mukta Anguti is available at $251, $501, and $750. The next offering is Napannadhyaya Samsiddha Pramanena Samanvita.
And the English translation, all the kalashas should be wound around with suitable thread and cover. And in fact, in all the different kinds of worship or the mudras and asanas, the hand gestures or the body postures that we do during any puja, anything, is always in some way associated with the lotus. And in some way, it is always implemented into the worship is also the lotus. And the disciple of Paramashiva is also considered as a lotus. So with so many different references, the lotus is such a beautiful divine flower that actually represents Devi herself, be the most graceful, most elegant flower in that whole pond. Just in that same way, if we're offering to Devi Parashakti, you can have the blessings to literally radiate Devi at all times, just as the power of the lotus flower.
And the next offering to Parashakti is the Swarnamatti, the golden touring.
Destroys the darkness of ignorance from the minds of your devotees who prostrate at your feet, you whose brightness from your 2 feet overpowers that of the lotus flower. Now you can offer the toe ring to Devi, adorning her sacred, like any married woman in the Hindu tradition does wear the toe ring. But this has significance, as we saw in the previous Shastra Pramana, that the very toenails of Devi Parashakti can literally liberate you and remove all the ignorance from you. So adorning that toe ring, an
offering is the Swarnamantika, the golden hairline jewelry. Sudha Sarabi Varshini, she who makes the nectar flow in all our nerves from Sahasrara, that is she who gives.
Represented by 1,000-petaled lotus at the crown of the head. And it is such a beautiful representation here as we are talking, that the nectar which is overflowing from that very lotus, the Sahasrara traditional piece of jewelry that is offered to Devi Parashakti, and also that all Hindu women are wearing as well as an ode and a remembrance and offering as well to Devi Parashakti. So you can start taking the next steps to make a payment or to register for yourself for any of these offerings. You can go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings.
Yes, so the next Saroruha.
The illumining splendor of Devi's toenails dispels the darkness of ignorance in the devotees of prostrating at her feet that defeat the lotus. Now, Tamoguna is considered as darkness, and by constantly prostrating before Devi, the ignorance is removed and they attain knowledge. You can offer the Pratyakshapada Puja to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and have the blessings of literal and for the Guru Purnima festival upcoming. This Guru Purnima festival is such a beautiful festival, a most auspicious time to surrender all the karmas that you have, everything that you have, and responsibility for the whole universe as Guru. And you can ensure that you are blessed with all the fruition, the blessings, auspiciousness in your life. During this Guru Purnima time, it's a very auspicious time for us to make this offering of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Devi Parashakti. So this brings us to a conclusion to all of the different offerings. And next, here is a summary table for all the different offerings that we went over today. There's first the e-hundi offering, which again you can make as a general donation, and you can make, these are also written down here. If you'd like to go ahead and you're ready to make your payment, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi-offerings. Now you might be in two categories as we are concluding this segment, and you just heard all of the different offerings. On one side, I'm sure many of you are fill out the intention form for making these offerings. You can go to tiny.cc/bhavasamadhi and fill out the intention form. This intention form will help you in manifesting, and that link will lead you to this very page as you are seeing. So as you can see, the Parashakti Bhavasamadhi Darshan donations are here listed out. And you can just select from the drop-down menu any of the offerings that you'd like to make, and then you can select add to cart. You submit this form. Then after you are filling out the payment, you can go to Sankalpa 2021 form, and this is tiny.cc/Sankalpa 2021. Make sure that you are filling out this form completely so that you can enter the name. Your name is chanted during the puja, and the benefits are all bestowed on you. So also here we have the another channel name underneath this video. You'll see the join button. Once you have joined, on the right hand side, you'll be able to see the super chat and super sticker option. You can offer as the e-hundi amount, and you can also choose a super sticker option where you can choose any sticker that you'd like to send as well. And Devi Parashakti during the Bhava Samadhi literally manifest the oneness experience with the divine, and you can manifest whatever you want in offerings. You will be able to see in so many different ways how you are manifesting, and literally you're living the reality that you wanted to live from the very beginning. So you can always make these offerings, and after so many decades of persecution, we have seen how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has not given up once for ensuring that the Holocaust and the ongoing genocide against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to the whole world, and making it an extreme, going on into the next segments, we'll be understanding the details and seeing how the United Nations has recognized the persecution, and seeing more into what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is finally bringing to the international audience, and the genocide which is going on. In the next segments, we will be seeing the details of all of what has happened. And in this next segment also, we will be also being joined by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as he has literally built a ship called the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetam through so many different spiritual alchemy processes, through literally his divine presence walking on the land of Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetam, which is today serving as a few minutes by Ma Nityachananda Swami and Ma Nitya Prana Priyananda to explain to us in detail about the Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetam ship that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been working with.
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment. Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa. But by evolution, Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanyapeetas all over the world. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism, that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have
Nithyanandam, and welcome. Today, we're going to share a very momentous happening for Kailasa. Once again, the United Nations has recognized the persecution of the Paramashivam. As one can see, the United Nations had called for various nations across the world and inputs taken, studies done over various communities, and the inputs and the studies, the analysis taken from the extreme inhuman crime of femicide, which is giving a glimpse of the whole persecution that the women community of Kailasa has gone through. We wanted to share this with you at the outset of this segment, and we'll be going into the details of this in the next, or even the 2 billion Hindus at large today. It is actually a victory, a resounding victory, and an awareness that has, on the one hand, peace enable a massively powerful way of living our super consciousness, our real reviving Hinduism as the living religion throughout the world, inspiring every person, being by being, to live one's true conscious sovereignty. So, of persecution and over 70 brutal direct assassination attempts still contributes to the world in the same way and with the same intensity, probably more, in the interest of making man how it exists today. And really, the whole civilizational history let us take a look at the big picture first. Kailasa and its vision and mission. Kailasa is the only macrocosmic, ancient, Hindu enlightened civilizational nation to serve the religion, creates a safe haven Kailasa is the only macrocosmic, ancient, Hindu enlightened civilizational nation to serve the religious and spiritual needs of 2 billion Hindus and the whole of humanity. Homeland and civilizational nation for Hindus on par with Israel for Jews, Vatican for Catholics, and Tibet for Buddhists. Kailasa was created with the determination to not just preserve of an enlightened culture and civilization based on authentic Hinduism. The mission of Kailasa. Kailasa is a nation created by dispossessed Hindus from around the world who lost the right to practice Hinduism authentically in their own countries. Though the caste or creed where they can peacefully live and express their spirituality, arts, and culture free from denigration, interference, and violence, equal and divine, can reach their highest potential irrespective of their color, nationality, religion, gender, sexual orientation, caste, creed, or race. And now a glimpse of vegetarianism, worship of nature, organic lifestyle, temple-based living, yoga, manifesting spiritual powers, and the inherent divinity of every being. Hinduism of race extermination through a systematic, egregious, and ongoing ethnic cleansing, forced relocation, double killing through genocide and genocide denial over the last 5,000 years on the most religious persecution in the form of forceful conversions, massacres, demolition and desecration of temples, confiscation or destruction of property, incitement to hate, imprisonment, Burma, Sri Lanka, all the way to Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Indonesia, and in the 200 states, 1,700 samsthanas or provinces, and 10,000 sampradayas or tribes who worshipped in them have been ethnically cleansed. The double killing, which is a Holocaust and its denial. Hindus are the victims of the double killing of Holocaust and the denial of Holocaust, denying the largest Holocaust of crime in the Holocaust and the heralding of the next crime. The strategy is to first obfuscate and obliterate a people, then obfuscate and obliterate their memory, and finally seek to obfuscate and obliterate the memory of the obfuscation, be it by the invading Mughals or the colonial forces, be it in the name of their race or color or religious faith or cultural roots or ethnicity or some other distinction, in a systematic physical elimination of over 100 million Hindus, ideological slavery of over 1 billion Hindus across all
in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa come. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. Model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems. Sarvanyapiti. You live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. Hinduism, by the principle of dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. When you protect dharma, dharma protects you.
Nithyananda? Yes. So next we're going to see how this glorious Hindu civilization went through unprecedented persecution over millennia. The Aramic invaders, starting from 800 to 1700 AD, where the physical destruction of Hindu civilization happened. Slaughters of Hindus, forced conversions, abduction of Hindu women and children to slave the markets, and the destruction of temples carried out by the warriors. Overall, 200 million Hindus were slaughtered by Muslim invaders, 100,000 temples were destroyed, 1 million deities and sculptures were destroyed. The conquering armies burnt these Turks. The rape of a continent. Genocide endorsed by the Islamic law. Al-Hidayah, one of them consent to it or agree to pay taxation. It is then incumbent on all the Muslims to call upon the God for assistance and make a war upon them, because God is the assistance of that. If somebody is termed as an infidel, which means a non-believer of this religion, if he says no to conversion, or if he says no to pay tax engines, and must do set fire to their inhabitants, and must inundate with water and tear up their plantations and tread down their grain, because by these means they will become, and forcing that person to convert into the respective religion. Rape of a contract mud. If silver is demanded from them, they must agree with great humility to offer gold. If a Mohammedan decides to spit into a Hindu's mouth, the Hindu should wipe the Hindus in abasement is especially a religious duty, because they are the most inveterate enemies of the Prophet. So you can see, to physically destroy the backbone of this Sanatana Hindu Dharma. The rape of a continent. Mohammedan Qasim Hindu Shah Firista. He says the idols of Nagarkuta and mixing the fragments with pieces of cow's flesh, filled bags with them and caused them to be tied around the necks of Brahmins, who were then paraded through the camp, 4 sections, and taken to each of the 4 gates of the great Katkar. There, on the stakes they had carried, the prisoners were impaled. Afterwards, their wives were killed and tied. Biological destruction of Hindu civilization happened between the 17th and 20th century by the British occupation. They will to run the same syllabus, but to the most sordid and criminal exploitation of one nation by another in all recorded history. During the British occupation, $45 trillion were looted from India over 200 years, 40 served by the British Raj. The British came to one of the richest countries of the world over 200 years of exploitation. Theories of scientific Darwinism, racism, and social Darwinism, the British justified their conquest and oppression of dark-skinned people as humanitarian, civilizing mission, even though it was a replenish the earth and subdue it. Charles Kingsley, celebrated professor, historian, friend of Charles Darwin, and priest in the Church of England. Colonial subjugation, 200 years of intense racial hatred towards Hindus. Hindus are full of religion. No people have ever drawn a more gross and disgusting picture of the universe than what is being presented in the writings of the Hindus. Very few words are required, especially regarding Islam. Colonial subjugation. The Catholic Church performs 250 years of sitting in large numbers, refusing to remain any longer in a place, the divide and rule. The British had been horrified during the revolt of 1857 to see Hindus and Muslims fighting side by side under each other's command against the foreign oppressor over the British sponsorship. The colonial subjugation. The British Empire used all possible means to destroy the Hindu civil and famines to starve natives into submission, annexed Hindu kingdoms to undermine the native rule, mistranslated Hindu scriptures to instill anti-Hindu narratives, destroyed indigenous the spirit of the people. Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, he says, "I hate Indians." Recently in Bengal, 1943. Indians were forced to eat leaves, grass, and even human flesh for that matter, and parents threw their starving children into the river and wells, whilst others committed suicide to escape from their living hell, and produced the finest fabrics. The British engaged in a systematic campaign to destroy the local handloom industry through harsh taxation and export policies forever. They destroyed the local industry to ensure building their own models at a fraction of the cost of the imported British trains. The British Parliament responded by passing an act in 1912 banning all the local manufacturers of determined piece of policy when throughout the country the pagoda lands were resumed by the East India Company and the allowances. Some of the most celebrated temples in the country are worse off. But there are still, alas, many more strongholds of the devil. False anti-Hindu narratives. British rule constituted 70 to 84% of the students. In contrast, a century of direct British misrule of India left the population with a dismal 12% literacy rate. We must at present do those dialects with terms of science borrowed from Western nomenclature and render them by degrees fit vehicles for conveying the knowledge to the great mass of the population. For their ornate speech, self-importance, and founding attitude towards any Westerner they meet. Converting the native Hindu Rajas into proper British gentlemen. The colonial subjugation, converting the native Hindu Rajas into proper British gentlemen. Concerned at the rising awareness of nationalism, our focus on the education of native princes and the pursuit of the objective in Macaulay's Minute on Education of 1837 to create a class of people who are Indian in blood and color, Tribes Act, where various ethnic communities were deemed subversive to colonial authorities simply because they did not convert birth, murdered, raped, arrested, had children separated from the parents and held in penal colonies or quarantined without conviction or due process. Upon release from British to demonize the Hindus and feed the stereotype of savage Oriental, British authorities and media sensationalized the stories of bloodthirsty of the Thuggy menace was also used to justify the colonial rule, suspend the civil liberties, and target subversive elements that challenged the British hegemony. The secular India management, neglect, corruption, theft of jewels and deities, and alienation of the temple land. Many temples constructed at least 1,500 years ago or much before the temple's activism. The Sabarimala temple dedicated to Lord Ayyappa in Kerala, where the South India represents one of the Hinduism's unique spiritual ecosystems. The form of Ayyappa worshipped as the Sabarimala in Nigeria are equally allowed access, while the Sabarimala is a single exception. Ayyappa devotees undergo 41 period of celibacy, fasting, and other penances prior to making the pilgrimage to prepare their bodies and super consciousness for spiritual ecosystem present in Sabarimala temple. Scriptures and oral tradition explain that the celibate male energy present in Sabarimala temple has been targeted by the anti-Hindu social activists for years as part of their broader campaign to delegitimize Hindus patriarchal. You can see openly it is a statement made by somebody in the government that is so anti-Hindu, like so much of religious intolerance is inculcated to Hindus in the recent times. Since 1991, a group of activist lawyers have sought to force the Sabarimala to accept me as fee required. Such propaganda is generally intended to demoralize the enemy, to break his will to fight or resist, and sometimes to render him favorably disposed to one side. The secular India in which the media narratives used to stereotype and demoralize the Hindus. Bollywood and many other mainstream media outlets consistently portray Hindu gods and gurus as cartoonish, dishonest, corrupt, sexist stereotypes perpetuated in modern India. The relentless campaign of psychological warfare waged on Hindu minds by the British and their brown successors spent billions of money annually on fairness cream to lighten their skin to be more like their former British masters. A 2014 marketing study found that about 90% of Indian girls cite their skin to physical destruction by the Islamic invaders, the next being the identity delegitimization and the double genocide imposed by the at this stage, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam revived the amount of hard work and the amount of revolution that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has created in last 26 years in reviving for the second time. In the next segment, we're going to see some of the important contributions of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in combating the ongoing pandemic and how he has opened his homes of Kailasa, despite he being persecuted more than a decade in his homeland, how he has compassionately opened the
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, if you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by and setting model community. Kailasa. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happen. Ecosystem. So don't keep quiet. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharma. Whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
Welcome back. And now, and that recognition being made by none other than the United Nations, the human rights situation, if one sees for women in India, women and children in India is quite abysmal, as one has seen from various reports. Despite Hindu values, has resulted in the destruction of the entire social fabric. The state of the Republic of India has been either unwilling or unable to curtail these crimes. India is right now being labeled as the most dangerous country for sexual violence against women, according to the Thomson Reuters Foundation to 2016, compared with the previous year. Sexual violence and brutal rape, as one has seen in the various news reports that have been flashing for the campaign, targeting certain indigenous spiritual traditions, minority communities, and their leaders, especially those from linguistic and religious minority groups and of dark-skinned people of indigenous spiritual traditions and of ethnic. The extremist militants are the ones who take on the garb of Hinduism, but actually they are anti-Hindu. The women, children, and young girls of the ASMT community were the most vulnerable target of these neo-Hindutva extremist militant forces. The ASMTs. The neo-Hindutva terrorists despise Hindu women in monastic and priestly roles. The spiritual head of the ASMT has publicly declared himself, as we all know, Bhagwan has declared himself to be transcendental gender age, as per more than 5,000-year-old indigenous spiritual scriptures. The ASMT represents one of the most progressive ideologies and is a target of persecution
of sensational screening and manufacture of misinformation and hate speech that is marginalizing minority communities, especially, and to delegitimize her Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. The media published fake interviews of the ASMT actress Ranjita for defaming her. Nakir and Gopal and other media heads pressurized Ranjita to commit suicide. ASMT female monks, but the most vulnerable target of this persecution are the ASMT girls and the female children, especially those minor girls who pursue religious studies to become nuns. In 2020, filed several vexatious litigations in India and US. In US, these false allegations by the child rapist, such as calling the child a liar and her parents and community as part of the brainwashing cult, were all rejected by the court with a penalty for defamation with cost. Girls. The media publicly addressed them as brainwashed, sodomized disciples, witches, prostitutes, cult worshippers, sex slaves, and also published mob violence and rape against them. In India, court orders are not upheld by the government. The Indian government and the Indian state departments are perceived as one of the most corrupt in the world. The mainstream Indian media and social media, indeed, there is no legal recourse available in India. In India, like we mentioned before, the court orders are not upheld by the government. The Indian government and the Indian state departments are perceived as one of the most corrupt in the world, and the mainstream Indian media and the social media influence explicitly mentioned how the court was prone to prejudice by this negative media propaganda. Though the media can influence the judiciary in India, the court judgments are toothless in curbing the media hate propaganda. The ASMT actress Ranjita, the victim of Hindutva media, kept pushing the implementation of the order of various quasi-legal institutions. Finally, the media's self-regulatory quasi-legal body, the NB propaganda to date. Any complaint on the media in the High Court is redirected to NBSA, BCCC, and any such other bodies which do not ever have a website listing it and is known to disregard its own guidelines and orders, even when the member channels ridicule and shame dead celebrities. The NHRC, the National Human Rights Commission, has maintained silence on the subject and pushed the responsibility on the state executives. A politically owned neo-Hindutva media channel aired sexual objectifications of Hindu nuns, terming it as an unbiased reporting. Indian courts are unwilling or unable to protect the ASMT women, especially the nuns and the children who are subject to this media persecution. Targeting the ASMT community. This is the largest penalty against any Indian media. This did not remedy the damage as the other media channels and journalists continued the smear campaign, followed by a series of sexual assaults on the Hindu ASMT nuns by state police, aesthetic militants of the state, and the neo-Hindutva terrorists. On 7th of June 2012, Bengaluru, neo-Hindutva militants attacked on the ASMT monastery. Several ASMT on 17th of September 2013, the Karnataka State Department of Women and Children forcibly, cruelly, and illegally interrogated children in the ASMT school. They quit their spiritual religious lifestyle and forced them to eat unhealthy substances avoided by as per the lifestyle of the ASMT community. The lawyer of the school on 28th of October 2015, an ASMT female monk was molested and escaped an attempted rape by a neo-Hindutva militant. On 8 videos depicting Nithyananda and the ASMT children were uploaded on social media by unknown groups. In November 2019, the state investigation and the petition to the court was forced to be withdrawn by the court. Instead, a false case was charged against the women Hindu heads, and they were kept under the custody for almost 3 months. The female spiritual leaders. Vexatious litigations have been used to persecute female Hindu spiritual leaders on absurd allegations of indecent dressing, booking in under anti-superstitious law. Today is essentially the glorious contributions from the Sanatana Hindu Dharma to the entire humanity and the deadly Hindu Holocaust that happened in 3 different phases, and several contributions of the Supreme Pontiff and the paid media. So the report has been published and acknowledged by the United Nations, and the voice of the Hindus is being heard for this. For the celebrations of Guru Purnima Brahmotsavam, and we'll be right back.
Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa.
Everyone who is participating in this puja to come and settle down.